Good evening. Good evening. How are you all doing? If you can hear me, go ahead and type some energy in the chat wherever you guys are located. Type some energy in the chat. I love it. It's an amazing time. Tis the season. It's the holiday season. Guys, go ahead and tag a friend. Tag a friend and tag a friend. You should not be on this call today without friends on the call. You should not be on this summit today without friends on the summit. Tag a friend, get a friend on, let everybody know that you are on the leadership summit that has been literally changing your life. So they should be a part of it. They should be participating. It's definitely going to be an amazing call. So tag a friend, ladies and gentlemen. It's I call this leadership summit. The energy that's bursting out today is the power energy. You understand? It's a different level of energy, and because we are closing out the fourth quarter of the year, and we are moving into what I like to call a sonic boom. So what are some of the things that you're happy and grateful for? What are some of the things that you guys are happy and grateful for? Because it's extremely powerful for you to be on this call. Too many times we've been finding excuses, right? And this is why this summit today is so powerful. What are you so happy and grateful for? What are you happy and grateful that you're receiving everything that you desire? Are you happy and grateful about that? Are you happy and grateful that the right people and opportunity comes to you? Are you happy and grateful that you have made space for that opportunity in your life? What are you happy and grateful for? Because today's leadership summit, I said, you know what? Last week's summit was so powerful. And, I was going to go into a different topic of what you all have been setting in. But I said, no, we just need to really just sum it up and finish off the summit with that topic, because that topic was so powerful, so profound. And I thought, you know what? This is what needs to happen. So tag a friend, get a friend on. Stop feeling like you need to receive this alone. Some other people need this as well. There's people on YouTube. There's people right now on IG, Clubhouse, different places. People are listening in from all over the world, no matter the time. But it's really about really applying this information and what you guys get at the summit to your life. Applying this information and what you all get at the summit to your life. So don't be a textbook junkie. If you're driving, you're listening. If you're still, you're taking notes in your phone, or you are writing it down. But I want you to understand the key to success, right? The key to elevation is getting information, right? But when something is coming in, because it's informing you, right? It's informing you of what you did not know. So when you get that information, you should utilize the information. Here's what a lot of us don't do. We take information, put it in the text, in the book, but we do not go back and review or study that information that we have noted, that we have documented. If you're guilty of that, go ahead and put 1, because we got to know how we help people, right? If you're guilty of that, put 1 in the chat. That's right. Some of you might say, "Oh my God, I don't want to do that." I need to know. Here's the thing about elevation and getting to a different level. You first got to be transparent and be an open book. We got to be transparent and we got to be an open book. Okay? We have to be transparent and we have to be an open book. So I'm saying to all of you that the information that's coming in, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take the information, and then we have to go back and study the information and apply the information to areas in our lives. That's key. So for most of you this evening, I want to see you. If I could see you, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know some of you probably saying, I don't got the right hairdo right now. I'm getting ready for Christmas. Okay? I'm getting ready for the holiday. My hairdo ain't right, Mr. Boston. Look, my hairdo not right either. Y'all see my hairdo? I got to fix my hairdo. Some of y'all, look, come on now. I was thinking I needed something long with a bang. Come on, people. But I'm working with this bald head. So listen, it doesn't matter what your hairdo is. I need to see you so we can feel this power energy that's really going on today, and why this topic is going to be so powerful as the continuation for most of you. If you attended last week's summit, then you know that we discussed a particular topic that it upset the norm, because most of us, right? Most of us, we really say that we're paying attention. We really say that we're hearing, but we're really not, right? So last week's topic was something that really, it sticks something so deep in most of us. You ever got when you're a child or you're growing up, and some of us as adults, we still get it from our wives, our significant others, where you did something and you get that pinch. Have you ever got that pinch that just, you know what I mean? And it really stings, right? That pinch. That's what this topic has been doing to everyone in their lives for centuries, beginning of time. Okay? Beginning of time. You guys should definitely check the chat if you want to recap. Last week's topic was effective listening. Effective listening. That's what we talked about last week. I want to make sure that you guys are with me. We talked about effective listening, right? And what did I say about effective listening? I said basically an effective listener must hear and identify the speech, the sound directed towards them. Speech and sound directed towards them. An effective listener has to hear those things. And they must understand the message of those sounds. That's number one. They got to understand the message of the sound. Then critically evaluate or assess that message. You heard that? Critically, they have to evaluate or assess that message, remembering what has been said, and respond either verbally or non-verbally to information they have received. So for most of you who might be now joining, you should have the concept of what an effective listener should be about. Okay? You should have the concept of what, and I'll say that again because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as you tag a friend and you bring somebody in, right? I said an effective listener must hear and identify the speech and the sounds directed towards them. Keyword hear. Next, identify. You heard that? See, you're hearing something. How do we hear? How do we hear? In order to hear, we must what? Can somebody type it for me? In order to hear, come on now, that's what I'm talking about. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You got in order to hear, we must listen. In order to hear, we must listen. Absolutely. So I said, identify speech and sound directed towards them. Understand, you got to understand the message of those sounds. Understand the message of those sounds. This is so profound. Why I went back, so you guys, for those who are now joining, understand how this upset the norm of our universe. This is serious, okay? Understand the message of the sounds. I'm saying sounds. You got to understand sounds. Woo! See, some of you might have heard this last week and might not have grabbed it. You got to understand sounds. Interpret, understand sounds. You and I both know if you hear a particular sound, we react based on that sound. You know, 'tis the season. We're in a space where everyone should be jolly. Notice I said everyone should be. Everyone should be jolly. So if you're a jingle bell, right? Not just a jingle, right? If you're a jingle bell, if you're something uplifting, you can identify that sound, that's something that's uplifting to you or others. And if you hear a sound that is daunting, You should be able to identify that sound that is daunting. If you're following me, go ahead and put 7. If you're following me, wherever you guys are, type 7 if you're following me so far, right? So it is critical to evaluate and assess that message. Remember what's been said. Because in order to respond, you have to remember what's been said, right? And you might respond verbally or non-verbally, guys. This is what's so powerful. You might respond verbally or non-verbally. This is extremely good. So we talked about a lot of context in which we discussed last week. And I was thinking I'll take this subject into the new year, but I said, no, we need to finish out this subject because it's extremely powerful for us to understand where we are. We need to understand where we are, right? And we talked about an effective listener. We if you guys go to the chat, some of you will see, okay, some of the recap as an effective listener. And I told you guys how I came about this last week. I told you guys, and I'm in my studies as well. And as I study, it's great for me sometimes when something is happening at the same time, I'm able to just go ahead and share it with you all. Because I'm deep in the study to understand the different ways and the different nuances. And I said, you know what? This is something that's been upsetting the norm. So as an effective listener, as we move on into this segment of effective listening, we are now, as I said to you guys, catch up in the chat. Go to the chat. You can catch up, right? Screenshot, whatever you guys decide to do if you haven't attended last week. But as we move on, speaking on effective listening, there are some barriers, okay, to effective listening. There are some barriers to effective listening, okay? And what is one of those barriers, right? What is one of those barriers to effective listening? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the barriers are low concentration. Low concentration, okay? One of the barriers are low concentration when we're talking about being an effective listener. See, low concentration or not paying close attention to a speaker or someone speaking or talking to you is detrimental to effective listening, okay? It is detrimental to effective listening. See, it can result from various psychological or physical situations, such as what? Visual or auditory distraction. What does that mean? It means that you can be present, but you're not paying attention. You're distracted, right? Auditory a distraction, physical discomfort because you're moving about in the chair. You're just not, right? You just, have you ever been places where you see people are just constantly moving and they're just, you cannot pay attention that way. Physical discomfort, inadequate volume of maybe the speaker, they may think. Or then with that person, it might be a lack of interest in the subject material. Maybe a lack of interest in the subject material. It may be stress or personal bias. Or personal bias. So, okay, so some of you, you're hearing, you said, okay, what would this mean? So you step into your office and there is a gathering where the CFO or the supervisor or the manager is having a meeting with all of the team. But you may have gone in and figured to yourself, look, I got a lot going on. I'm hearing them, but I don't really want to, I'm not feeling this. Lo and behold, the information that's coming across is critical for you to understand the next stage. But because how you might be feeling, or because of personal bias to that individual, you are now not really listening. You're not paying attention. You take that same scenario and move it from work to now a personal situation at home, friends, family, husband, wife, relationship. And based on the information that's coming to you, I would say by a show of hands, but we're not in an audience sitting. But how many of you have stepped into your home or have been somewhere, and when you walk in, that daunting music is playing in your mind and the big words came out? John, we have got to talk. How many of you have heard that? We have got to talk. Okay, how many of you have heard? So you that daunting sound now is playing in your mind. Okay, and what happens is, based on the subject matter, you decide to not really listen. But see, the person that is speaking, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to them. So what did we say an effective listener must do? See, an effective listener have to listen and understand, and they got to be able to remember what is said to be able to respond, verbally or non-verbally. So when you now make what is coming into, which is the information coming into you, when you now make that as a personal bias, guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? You don't pay attention. And when we don't pay attention, we don't get the information. If we don't get the information, we can't retain anything. Because what do you need to do in order to hear? You have to listen. Okay? So regardless of the cause, when a listener is not paying attention to someone speaking to them or speaker's dialogue, effective communication is significantly diminished. It is significantly diminished. Now, what is one of the number two things, as I said to you guys, barriers of effective listening? Lack of prioritization. Lack of prioritization. Lack of prioritization. See, just as lack of attention to details in conversations, guys, can lead to ineffective listening, so can focusing too much attention. Listen to this now. So can focusing too much attention on the least important information. Ooh, somebody must have missed it. Somebody must have missed it. I said, just as lack of attention to details in conversations can lead to ineffective listening, so can focusing too much attention on the least important information. So a lot of folks are saying, but I'm listening. I'm listening. Are you hearing me? I'm listening. How many of you guys have been through this? You might have done it yourself. Are you hearing me? I'm listening, but you are focusing your attention on the least important thing, the information. See, listeners need to be able to pick up on social cues. This is so key. As a listener, you got to pick up on social cues and prioritize the information you hear to identify the most important points within the context of that conversation. You have to be able to. As a listener, you have to be able to pick up on social cues. You have to prioritize the information that you hear. We talked about last time, you got to compartmentalize, right? You're hearing everything, but you got to focus on the right thing and not the least important information. See, often the information a person or if you're speaking to someone in your organization and you walk into that meeting I'm telling you about, right? As the people listening, or you listening, you're the audience. You're the audience to that speaker. whether it be you in the home, you at work, wherever that is. You're the audience to that speaker. So the audience, as the audience need to know, right, that it's delivered along with less pertinent or irrelevant information, right? You as the audience, you're listening, right? So you want to know, okay, well, how what's being delivered, is it being delivered the way that it needs to be delivered? See, it makes it difficult, right? It makes it difficult as a person to organize and retain information you need if you are not paying critical attention. See, for instance, right? Let me give you guys an example. For instance, when you go to college, or you're students who take notes in class, they must know which information is worth writing down within the context of an entire lecture. If you're in school, you got to understand that. You have to know what makes sense to write down over an entire lecture. Writing down lectures word for word is impossible, as well as efficient. It's inefficient. You cannot hear everything I say as a professor and write it down. You have to choose what is pertinent, what is important. Because if you're choosing what is pertinent and what is important, then you are doing this. You're hearing, and if you hear, right, you're listening. You're listening. This is extremely important. You have to. You cannot write the whole thing down. You cannot keep up with the whole thing. That's number one. So what is one of the other qualities? What is one of the other qualities? What is one of the other qualities? We talked about it, right? What is one of the other barriers that an effective listener face, right? Poor judgment. Poor judgment. Poor judgment. You know, when we say poor judgment, when you're listening to your partner at home or someone speaking the message, it's common to sometimes overlook aspects of that conversation or make judgment. And this is really key, because I want to make sure you guys are understanding this. It is common to overlook or make judgments before all the information is presented. Oh, a lot of us, we're guilty of that. Come on now. Come on now. When listening to your partner, your boss, or someone, it is so common sometimes to overlook the aspect of the conversation, and then you make judgments before all the information is presented. See, listeners often engage in confirmation bias. See, I can lift my hands up. I've been down that road, and at times I still go down that road. So I got to quickly catch myself. I need you guys to hear this clearly, because you go through this every day. So if you're here, wherever you are in the world, and you're saying, that's not me, go ahead, quietly turn your camera off and slap yourself. Go ahead, quietly turn your camera off and just slap yourself. And say, ooh, self, you lying. Ooh, self, you lying. Before you came on this leadership summit, you were just watching the 5 o'clock news, and you didn't even hear everything, and you already made confirmation bias. Boom! Oh, yeah, he did that. Oh, yes, she did that. See, we're all guilty of this, right? Let's be honest. We engage in confirmation bias, which is the tendency to isolate aspects of a conversation. Now, why do we isolate aspects of a conversation? You all ready for this? We isolate aspect of a conversation to support our own pre-existing beliefs and values. Ooh. We isolate, ladies and gentlemen. We isolate. Because why? I want y'all to think about this. Let's think about this, right? Let me give you guys a real good example on this one right here. How many people We have heard over the time, we hear it on the news, we you know, well, we hear it in television, we hear it in movies, we hear it in real life all around us. That how we use the context of, let's say, the Bible, for instance. And we use these contexts to really just prove what we believe. We use these contexts to just prove what we believe. Well, you know, God said you need to be a giver. So why don't you give me? And you're like, okay, really? God said you need to serve, so you should bless me. Well, you know, the Bible said this, or the Bible said that, or whatever book that you've read, or whatever you have grown up, whatever you grew up hearing. We use these analogies, right? Because why? Confirmation bias. That's what we're doing. Is that tendency that you want to isolate what you want to isolate so that it can support you, your pre-existing beliefs and values. So when someone is speaking and you are quick to interrupt because you have that issue, then guess what? You cannot hear the length of what they need to say to be able to listen, to understand, to be able to respond effectively. This is really key. See, this psychological process has been a detrimental effect on listening for several reasons. But we'll talk about one or two of them. This psychological process, it's a psychological process that you go through. It is a psychological process that you go through. You don't realize you're going through a psychological process because why? You truly believe that, look, this is the way I believe it, and this is the way it is. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Put some tens in the chat if you are following me. If I'm making sense, somebody say, make sense. If you're an IG, type make sense. Wherever you are, I need to know if y'all ain't feeling me? Woo, y'all ain't feeling me? Or y'all just, well, I'm good. I'm so good. We got some Cinderellas on this summit today. We got some glass slippers on this summit today. Is that what it is? Is that what it is, guys? I want to make sure that everybody's in the same page. Come on, y'all. Come on. When we start talking about these things, right? First, confirmation bias, right? It tends to cause a listener to enter the conversation, listen to this, just as I said, before the speaker finishes his or her message. Because you believe what you believe. See, this allows you to form opinions without first obtaining all the pertinent information. So you form your opinion. You walked in. Listen, my fellas, wherever you guys all are all over the world, we know that we're guilty of this. You walk in. When we talk about, let's use personal relationships. You walk inside and say, John, we need to have a talk. Right away. You walk into home and you hear, John, we need to have a talk. You're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Because right away you hear that daunting sound in your mind. And then when you start to hear, a lot of times we do not allow that person to finish because you've already heard, John, we have to have a talk. So confirmation bias jumped up. Boom, I got to go into fight or flight. I got to defend. Instead of being able to listen, right? So you can obtain all the pertinent information. Now, the second confirmation bias, it detracts from listeners' ability, from a listener's ability, right? To make accurate and critical assessments. For example, the listener may hear something at the beginning of a speech that either aroused specific emotion. Remember I said you walked in, you came into the job, and then the CFO, CEO, or manager is making changes in that job. But you weren't there, or you came in and you didn't really pay attention, but you heard, so we're going to cut the pay, and woo, you heard cut pay. That's all you heard. You heard cut pay. And because you heard cut pay, oh, everything broke loose. Everything broke loose because you heard cut, pay. Confirmation bias. You didn't listen. You didn't know that what was said or what was being said was listen. We're dropping the pay because we have strategically structured a new position that gives you guys this bonus, that bonus, this bonus, that bonus, and it goes into effect right away, which allows that cut to actually look like it's an amazing raise based on certain things, which will then result in maybe a higher raise a year from now. You didn't hear any of that because all you heard was cut pay. All you heard was cut pay. See, so when the listener hears something at the beginning of a speech that arouses that specific emotion, whether it be an emotion of anger, whether it be an emotion of frustration, or anything else, that emotion have a profound impact on the listener's perception of the rest of the conversation. I'm hoping y'all are with me. I'm hoping you guys are with me. I'm hoping you're listening. Do you guys understand? If you understand, just go ahead and put understand in the chat, because I want to make sure that you guys are following me, because this is extremely important for us to have this dialogue. This is extremely important for us to have this dialogue. Matter of fact, as we have this dialogue, see, it is key for me to know and hear from some of you, because this is important when you're having this dialogue, because we all go through these situations. We all go through these situations. These confirmation biases happen so often that we can solve problems and have less problems and issues if we will only learn and practice effective listening. If we will only learn and practice effective listening, because you will be able to get so far. You will be able to get so much clarity. You will be able to obtain so much understanding. You will be so much more grounded if you listen to understand, then speak instead of listening to respond. That is key, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make sure that you guys are with me. I want to make sure you guys are following me. See, one of the things that we do is sometimes we're hearing somebody, and like you might be at your job, for those who are trying to elevate and get to a certain level, and you may hear a CEO speaking or someone that you figure is so awesome, and what you're doing, you're focusing on the style of how this person is coming to speak, but not the substance. See, some of you right now, what you're hearing has everything to do with everything. Notice how I phrase that. It has everything to do with everything. You might say, what do you mean? Some of us may walk right into the next room after this summit, and your husband said, Cheryl, we need to talk. Ooh, the sounds, everything came down. It has everything to do with it. You start focusing on the style, not the substance. See, in the case of listening, distracting or a larger than life element in a speech or a presentation, something that you're listening, can deflect your attention away from the most important information in the conversation or in the presentation. You're so caught up of a flamboyant of a supervisor or someone speaking to you, or how they're, well, you see, I'm really annoyed right now. So you're caught up on that, but you're not really listening to the substance on why that person is doing all this. Because here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. When we see all of this, we go into an uproar because we see all of this, and you're like, oh, you're doing too much. Isn't that a statement that we use a lot? Where do we get that from? You're doing too much. Where do we get that from? The minute if I walk into Mr. White's home and I start, wait, hold on now, he's doing too much. But I may be speaking some pertinent information that he needs to look past that to really understand what is being said. If you follow, type follow. If you follow, type follow. See, this is key for us to understand. Where I'm going right now is so key, right? That distraction, it can deflect you. See, these distractions can also influence the listener's opinion. For example, if a message is delivered in a way you perceive as abrupt or rude, you're much less likely to understand or want to understand the message. What is another thing? Cultural differences. Oh, I like that. I travel all over the world. Cultural differences. Right here in our United States of America, right? You got cultural differences. The person speaking have an accent, vocabulary, or misunderstanding due to cultural assumptions. You already start assuming because you hear an accent. So because you hear an accent, you already assume that this person don't know what they're speaking about or talking about. Because now your effective listening has gone out the door. Because you hear, I'm trying to tell you something, but you don't understand me, huh? And you're like, oh, this goes out the door. Or you hear, my brother and sister, what is it? I came here all the way from Nigeria, but you don't understand me. And it goes out the door. It goes out the door because you hear an accent. So now you cannot pay attention because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to hear. So now your effective listening cannot work because it can obstruct that listening process. Those same biases, it applies, guys, to speakers in your business, in your home, whichever it is. It applies in physical appearances. That's a big one. Physical appearance. Someone may come dressing less than you think they should have dressed. So now you are looking at the appearance, but missing the message. Ooh, I don't think y'all with me today. See, I don't think y'all with me today. You looking at the physical appearance, but you're missing the message. Because you expect the messenger to come down looking holier than thou. You expect the messenger to be wearing a brand new robe. You expect the messenger to have lights shining around him or her. What you're not understanding is that the messenger can come in any which shape or form. So your purpose, your sole purpose, when something is being delivered, when information is coming in, your only purpose when information is coming in is for you to do this. Listen. And if you're listening effectively, then you will understand effectively. Come on now, people. Come on. But these barriers, these biases, it comes in and it put a blockage in areas of our lives. It put a blockage that allows us to lose relationships. It put a blockage that allows us to lose our jobs. It put a blockage that our children don't want to hear us. It put a blockage that we can't have good friendships. It put a blockage that people start looking at you and shunning you away because they don't want to deal with you. It put a blockage in every area of our life. And then here's what we say. Here is what we say. Life is so rough. Things don't work for me. I'm always in some type of shambles. I'm always in some type of problem. But you don't, ooh, y'all ain't ready for this one. You don't listen to you. You don't even listen to you. You don't listen to you. I'll say this again. Life is rough. I'm always in shambles. Things don't work good for me. I'm always in some problems. The bills keep coming. Oh, I wanna celebrate, but all of this is going on. But see, if you recorded you and then listen back to you and you hear and you listen and you understand and then you start dissecting what you are saying, you will start backsliding like Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk, saying, who's that girl? Who's that dude? I don't like how he or she sound. That ain't me. Yeah. Come on now. I wouldn't date her. I wouldn't date him. Because why? You start realizing, oh my gosh, I'm whining. Oh my gosh, I'm complaining. Oh my gosh, listen to me. But I am here right now. I'm able to complain. I'm able to say, what? I got the job. I'm able to say I'm a mother. I'm able to say I'm a father. I'm able to say I got a roof over my head. Then you're able to say I am blessed. I don't think y'all with me. Then you're able to say I am blessed. So why am I complaining? Because see, I wasn't listening effectively. I'm shutting down the things that are blessing me. Y'all hearing me? I don't know if y'all hearing me. Look, I gotta grab my water. Y'all didn't hear me. I'm gonna drink some water on y'all real quick. I don't think y'all hearing me. I don't think y'all understand. I don't think y'all understand. See, this is important. This is extremely important for you to understand. So, in order to avoid these obstructions, a listener should be aware of these biases, and they should focus on the substance. Come on, people. Rather than the style or the delivery or the speaker's voice or the appearance. Come on, y'all. I don't know about you guys, but I've gone places and I've blessed those who might be less fortunate. And in giving them the blessing that I believe I'm giving them, they're blessing me so much more with abundance because of the word that they have given to me. I can only say, I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. Just today in my path, I blessed the brother. Said, brother, 'tis the season. Be blessed. But he gave me a word. And see, it all started with a word according to the way I study, according to the text I study, according to the creator I serve. So sometimes the word is all I need because it started with a word. See, here's what I did. I listened because I heard a word. And the same word I heard is the same thing if I look at how powerful the 4-letter W-O-R-D, 4 letters. He said, let there be light. Woo! And it was good. So you know what? When I heard the word, I looked at, man, he gave me a word. This word was so fulfilling to me. I thought I was bestowing a blessing of man on him, but he gave me a word that was supernatural. So why am I saying to you guys that you have to hear in order to listen? You got to be an effective listener, because we bring destruction when we don't listen effectively. This is where I'm going. See, this is where I'm going. We bring destruction when we don't listen effectively. Some of you right now, you're still in your chair saying, how? Some of y'all did the 3-letter word, how? You're still lost. Some of you right now, you're still lost. What do you mean? I bring destruction when I don't listen effectively. How? So maybe we need to back up, rewind the tape. Okay, let's rewind the tape. We're using the word tape. Yeah, let's rewind the tape. Let's take you back, because maybe you missed something extremely pertinent that you should have really been listening to. How do you bring destruction? Let's go back again. 1, thoughts become things. Let's go right there. Thoughts become things. So let me explain to you, for those who said how in their mind, wherever country they're in, because I felt the energy of somebody saying how. So I need to break down the how so you will understand. So let's go with the how. Ask yourself right now, for all of you that's tuning in, right? What is happening in my life? I want you to ask yourself that question. What is happening in my life? And then that question that you ask yourself, write the answer on a paper whenever you are done, or if you want to write it now. What is happening in my life? Then write the answer on a paper. What is happening in my life? Then write the answer, right, on a paper. What is happening in your life? Write the answer on a paper. Then, after you write that answer, I want you to relax for a few seconds and then think. And I want you to understand what you are thinking about. Ooh, I need y'all to be with me right now. Understand what you're thinking about. And then ask yourself an internal question. What do I think about mostly? Or what are some of the things I think about mostly? So for the powers, you heard me? The howers, I'm adding my own word. For the howers, well, I think the bills are coming next week. Oh, this car payment. Jeez, I just can't get rid of this car payment fast enough. Oh, man. IRS. Oh, I didn't file the taxes last year. Jesus, they're going to penalize me. This is not, oh, man. And now there's no pension. Oh, let alone, oh, my God, my daughter, my son, so rough. They want everything. I just don't have the time to deal with them as much as I want to. Whew. Life. And I want you, as you think about those things, note down how often you think about it. And then you will get your how, the destruction of not listening effectively. Because, see, your thoughts become the things that happen in your reality. So if your thoughts is always on things that will bring you a negative outcome, or an outcome that would be stressful to self, then, ladies and gentlemen, when you approach a situation in where you should be hearing, listening to then understand, instead of listening to respond, then all you're doing is creating your own trials. Because if you cannot listen effectively, then you cannot answer effectively. You cannot respond effectively. So then you will be putting yourself in the doomsday seat all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're with me, go ahead and type with me. If you're with me, go ahead and type with me. See, this right now is the closure for the powerful energy that we got going on as we surge out the end quarter, moving in to a new level of energy in a few weeks from now. So somebody type new level. Somebody type new level. So if you don't understand, a new level of energy is, as for those who are sports fans, for those who watch football or soccer or whichever one you want to call it, you know, when you're playing the field and you're in the home side, but then now you were able to advance beyond a half field. And now you're going into territory that's not yours, but you're dominating. Ooh, we about to dominate into a new level of energy, right? If we understand finishing strong where we are. Tap in, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and type tap in, because I want to tap in. Say, I want to tap in. I want to tap in to this new energy. Tap in. I want to tap in to this new energy. I want to tap in to this new energy. You have to be able to tap in. See, there's solution and active listening. There's solution and active listening. See, active listening, guys, active listening is a particular communication technique, but it requires the listener to provide feedback on what he or she hears from the speaker. You heard that? Active listening. Let me tell you guys something. anytime my wife speaks to me, I could reassure you and I can tell you that she will ask me at the end of what she said, whether it's 3 lines or a book, she's going to ask me, what did you hear in regards to what I said? So I have to be an active listener. I have to be an active listener. So guess what? I have to practice every day. So what am I saying to all of you? Effective listening requires 24/7. 24/7 work. Effective listening requires 24/7 work. You are an effective listener, not as a part-timer, but all the timer. You heard that? You are an effective listener, not as a part-timer, but all the timer. Because once someone has something pertinent that they're gushing out to you, then you need to know that I have to listen effectively, even if I'm going to deny the claim. I cannot deny a claim effectively if I didn't listen effectively. Because you don't know what you're really about to deny if you didn't listen. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes we miss the greatest blessing because it seemed as if it was wrapped in what you believe was a confirmation bias in the beginning, so you just missed it. Come on. How many of us, how many of us are guilty of that? How many of us are guilty of that? You missed the biggest blessing because it was wrapped in your confirmation bias right from the start. So guess what? You missed what was about to happen in the end. You missed. You missed, ladies and gentlemen. Because see, you wanted what you wanted, but you didn't know that you was about to be upgraded. Oh, come on now. You wanted what you wanted. Me and Mr. White decided we were going to step in to a place. And Mr. White said, I'm going for this particular kind of suit. And he's stuck on that suit. But see, I know what I know, and I know Mr. White wanted the Tom Ford suit. But Mr. White is stuck on the suit that's way below, even though it's beautiful. But he don't know that I am taunting him with good words, and I'm finding out where he is mentally, and I'm finding out where he is structurally, and I'm finding out that if this is something that's worthwhile being rewarded to him. So because I'm doing that, he looks at it as a chastisement because I might be abrupt. Boston might be too abrasive. You know, I hear that a lot. Oh, Boston is so abrasive. I said, it's the New York in me. Some people say you talk too fast. I said, you're listening slow. Come on, people. It's just the New York in me. So that abrasiveness is called love that I'm giving y'all, the New York way. Well, what did Frank Sinatra say? If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Come on, y'all. That abrasiveness is just the N-Wheezy. Y'all heard me? That's just the N-Wheezy in me. Come on, let me give it to y'all. Y'all don't get the twang wrong. It's just a New York kid. So I'm giving you that abrasiveness because it's called passion. Some of you hear it, look at his face. What's wrong with him? He looks like he's angry. Ooh, you just missed. Come on, y'all. You think I need to go on stage or walk up in front of people and I need to sit on the podium like this? Well, good evening. How are you guys doing today? I am here to speak. No, that can never be Boston. See, the robe that was given to me to wear, that breastplate of righteousness that was given to me to wear, is one of abrasiveness, it's one of boldness, it's one that I stand tall in. So you know what? Because I stand tall in it, I will deliver the way it was given to me. Come on, y'all. And if you're walking in that alignment of powerful energy, you know what you're going to do? You're going to pick. You're going to pick. You're going to pick. You're going to tap in. You're going to tap in. And when you start tapping in, come on, y'all. Come on, come on, come on, come on, y'all. Effective listening. Effective listening. We must listen effectively. So, guys, as we move into this closure, I want to ask, Mr. White, I want to hear from you today, Mr. White. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. I want to hear from you, Mr. White. As you heard this topic from last week to where we are right now, Where do you stand? Where do you see yourself through some of these trials, and what might have happened along the way? That's good. That's good. Mr. Listen, see, I respect your honesty, your transparency. Are you guys hearing? Because we can only get better if we can understand that. Look, so he's saying that I follow the blueprint at home, but then he might not give it to another person that way, that maybe the way he should. Okay? So that he can effectively hear them to then whether dismiss or to embrace what's happening. So how do you look at this particular subject? What has this subject now done for you? That's so good. That's so good. That's so good, Mr. White. I really appreciate hearing that from you, because it's amazing. There's times, Mr. White, that I may hear something and I'm ready at times to jump off the deep end. And my wife would just simply say, hold on, move on to the next. Why are you even going there? That's energy wasted. That's time wasted. Pay attention to where you're going. Don't allow yourself to be derailed, because you are allowing the wrong information to come in and interpreting it incorrectly. So you aren't effectively listening. So I'm telling you all, I'm with you right there. I'm with you right there. And this is why this is such a powerful topic for us to discuss as a whole, because it allows us all to grow, and we can grow together. Make sense? Absolutely, absolutely. I want to hear from someone else. You hear Mr. White, it's transparency. I want to hear from someone else. I'll give you guys a chance to quickly weigh in. Does anyone else want to really tell me what this particular topic has done for them? Go ahead. I'll allow you all to unmute to really share this. Is anyone wanting to unmute and share as to what this topic has done for them? I want to hear from someone. Hey, how are you doing, Lula?
Good. Effective listening has helped me in my job, and also has kind of changed the way that I started thinking about the process of trading and engaging with people, and just overall connecting with humans. Because right now it's been a little challenging because most people don't listen effectively. And we've talked before in reference to my job, and I'm a manager. And I'm always dealing with customer service issues. And the first thing people do is fly off the handle. And I'm always the person that has to kind of reel them back. And me learning how to be an effective listener has also helped my team learn how to be effective when they're communicating with our customers. And also, as a so again, I'm going to be patient. It's kind of reiterating some of the spaces where we can always be better. And listening is definitely one of them as a race.
That's so good. That's so good. And I so appreciate hearing this from you because as you guys can hear, you have different people, different walks of life that jump on this summit and you hear it. She's coming in from a managerial standpoint, right? To show you that, well, there's times that she have to make sure she's solving problems all the time. But what's so important, what she said is that by her being an effective listener, learning how to be effective, her team, it duplicates down to the team. That is powerful. Lula, I'm so ecstatic about that. Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you very much. Awesome. I'll get another person or so before we jump off. I think I saw Miss Felicia at unmuted for a second. Miss Felicia, did you want to share something or are you still with us? I think I saw Miss Felicia. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Tell me about what this particular topic has done for you.
Well, it helps you to really focus in on what people are saying because sometimes I have that tendency that just start talking and, it's like, oh, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about that. And my mind starts going other way, another direction, and it brings you back. Like, what did he just say? Did I just miss that? Because you're thinking ahead on that particular subject. So I understand how, being able to focus and pay attention is a vital part to knowing what you're doing because if you don't, 10 or 15 minutes later when you get home, you say, now what did he say? How was I supposed to do that? And you've done it already, or you've said it already, but because the mind goes off in a different direction, I have a tendency like, oh, this is what I said.
That's good. No, and I appreciate that because that is a big thing. And that's what we talked about when I was telling you guys about, the body language or the physical movement and the different things because why the auditory type of move, because now you cannot remember or you didn't comprehend. And that becomes an issue for you being able to respond effectively. So thank you very much, Felicia, for weighing in. I'll go and take one more person. Derek, brother, are you out here today? I see that you got it ready to speak. Go ahead and share about this with us really quick.
Yes, sir. I really enjoy having on these calls. It does a lot for me, and just hearing everybody's enthusiasm and just their input, it makes me think about other beneficial factors of just being on this call. But one thing that I just wanted to point out, and that is that you just do very well at in terms of working down was when you said effective listeners, they go through their what you go through their day, so you really understand. But we're saying how it could be someone like your spouse or your manager or just an everyday person, and you just have this fixed perspective on them, and so you kind of like almost overlook the information that they're really giving you. So I feel like it kind of helps me in my relationship. I feel like but to be an effective listener, and then like I was saying, when you're listening to someone, what are you picking out? That's important. What's actually important from what they're saying. You might be picking out, the least important thing and focusing your attention on that, and you miss this piece over here, and now you're just thinking this, you're discrediting it. It's like, nah. Or like you said, we can hear emotional words like, we're taking a pay cut, but you didn't see the long-term goal. 6 months, 12 months from now, you can be making 10x from what you're making now if you take this right now pay cut. So it's just, I love the fact that you record these on multiple platforms, so we can always go back and watch this. Like these, they're on YouTube, and even just go back and, like you said, you can't keep up with everything or everything. So, being able to go back on the different platforms and just really watch it twice, watch it 3 times, and really just kind of like grab the information. I feel like these calls are really effective. So, I really
Man, brother, I appreciate hearing that from you. It tells me that you were listening and you took some great points from what I just said, because that is key for you as an individual or anyone on this call to take the information and then go back and study the information. And as you study the information, you better understand the information to apply the information. And that is what's so good about the things that you have just said. So I salute you, because it's truly an amazing thing to know when someone is actually listening. And that is key. So thank you again, Derek, for sharing that, brother. Thank you very much. Do I have anyone else before we power up and close out the call? Do I have anyone else who want to just quickly weigh on in on what they've heard today? Is there anyone else who want to weigh on in? Let's have you guys jump on in here really quick. Let me hear from anyone else who want to weigh in on what they have heard, because when you are able to do that, it is what sets you apart from you. Not anybody else. Is what sets you apart from you. You're your biggest challenge. Okay? Is there someone who want to speak? Come on.
I'll do it, sir.
All right. Hey, jump on in. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. A little under the weather, but doing better than amazing.
Awesome.
I was super excited for it to continue, when you said, when you asked me, I was like, go ahead, let's do this. We gotta continue this call. So I was really, really excited about this. I love the way everything turned out from last week into this week, because not only did you show, the effective listening, but you also showed the barriers and things that we may not even think about that we actually do on a daily basis. It's how many times that, me being your mentee and you being my mentor, you tell me, wait, but I'm not done. Wait, did you listen? Wait, this is what is actually about to happen, right? So it's all about the bigger picture and showing, some more than what it actually is, more than what our minds can actually conceive. Because so many times we have, we may not think that we have it, but we do have certain biases towards certain cultures and appearances and language, whatever it is. And a lot of the times we do, lack that prioritization, because we want to get so much information that sometimes we get information overloaded. We don't prioritize the information that we're actually listening to, right, or hearing, in order for us to be effective. And one of the things that you did say that stands out, because I have tons and tons of notebooks, is that we do not apply the information, because a lot of the times, and that's something that you've always said, it's not knowledge is key, it's applied knowledge. Because we come on these calls every single week. We're on these calls a lot of the times. I see the exact same names over and over again. But are we actually applying what we hear? Are we actually applying what we wrote down, what we're listening to? So this call, I think, was definitely needed. It was amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us every week. Coming on these calls, I know you guys have been traveling. You're exhausted sometimes. Still, you make sure that you show up for us and to give us this information. So again, I just wanted to say this was an amazing topic, and thank you so much for coming on these calls every single week.
Well, truly, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for weighing in, Deanne. I think it is necessary for us to show up. We talked about language barriers and different things like that, and just think about it. As my wife said, look, listen, I want to spend a year in a Spanish-speaking country, or a country that's total different language, and I just want to spend a year there and just really learn. You cannot have those confirmation biases. You cannot start becoming judgmental because you believe. I want to tell you guys real quick as we go to close out. Listen to this, right? Because you start believing, well, I can't understand them. See, here's the thing. The family arrived there. My wife is dealing with this, and she is dealing with it as a champion. Listen to this. Then we brought in close friends. And right away, it was a challenge and a bit of annoyance to them, because of the matter of, I got to deal with, this is just the barriers. Oh my gosh. Because why? They were having the confirmation bias. They were being judgmental already. And along the way, now everyone is having fun. Why? Because my wife has been leading with a space of joy, a space of understanding, a space of acknowledgement. Because I'm not looking at the outcome of how anybody looks or what I'm hearing, because I believe anywhere I go in the world, every man and woman wants to be understood. They want to be understood. So I just need to know how to understand them. Because I'm the one that went to where they are. They didn't come to where I am. I'm hoping somebody with me. You understand? I'm hoping somebody with me. So I need to learn. I went to Rome, but I want to act like I am still at home. No, you're in Rome. So you do what they do in Rome. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate you all for just staying the course. I really appreciate you guys for being able to join. And I want you guys to understand this. As you unleash this power, this powerful energy this week, as you unleash this powerful energy this week, I need you to go into this week with confirmation. I want you to go into this week with, as the text said, for those who are believers, there's a statement that was made as the path was open, the water was open, and as the Israelite crossed it over, and the Egyptians were chasing them. There's a statement said that the Egyptians you see now, you shall see no more. So I want you to move into your week and know that the trials and the problems that you see now, you shall see no more. As you power up with a level of energy that will take you to another plateau. So move into this week with the powerful energy. Move into this week with the grace and the covering. Move into this week that when your feet touch the ground, everything shakes because of the anointing that is on you. That the direction that you're going is because your eyes is set onto the hills. Keep your eyes to the hills. Do not look and let the blows that is hitting you, don't put yourself in a fetal position. Don't worry about the blows. Keep your eyes onto the hills because you know where your help is coming from. So I say, as you go into this week, let this week be a blowout of greatness. Let everything that is deserving for you fall on you. Whoever comes in to your area, your space, they will feel the sonic boom of powerful energy of greatness. Whatever you seek, it is done. Walk into your greatness. Walk into your favor. Walk into everything that you have already claimed that is waiting on you that you now have to catch up with. So I thank you guys so much. I honor you all. 'Tis the season. Let's finish strong. So much love to all of you. You guys continue to be blessed. Continue to move strong. If you guys decide to reach out to us, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have a powerful retreat in January. It's going to be amazing. We're doing a retreat on the 8th and the 9th of January in Florida. It's going to be powerful. Come on out. If you want to know more, go ahead and reach out to us, or you can just literally go ahead and check out the site for the retreat. It's brandandbanquet.com, brandandbanquet.com. So you guys can literally come in the building, be a part of this amazing retreat that will allow you to catapult. So much love, much appreciation to you guys. You guys be blessed. And I will see you guys on the other side of greatness, which is the top level of greatness. Love you guys. Be blessed.